message from the start. Don't panic. This market's going to be coming back. The Nvidia earnings really pulled things up, and I suppose it's worth asking, Tom, what was it you were seeing that made you think, hey, this thing's going to have a nice big rally on Thursday?
Well, if you know, we'll be talking about it tomorrow. We'll be talking about it tomorrow with the almanac. I just got a phone with Jeffrey. November historically, last 50 years, has been one of the best trading months of the year, and it's not surprising. I've seen it before where they'll take it down and try to get people out of their stocks because people. I'm gonna break some news here, okay? The guys that are out there from Wall Street know less about the market and what you've learned from me from the following statement. They needed to acquire those stocks and they get together and they put out all this overvalued, all this stuff, and the market does come down a little bit. But y'all remember the guy, his name Michael Burberry, called the housing crisis. You know what I'm saying? Well, he was out there saying that the AI group was overvalued. Well, guess what? He had to close his fund because he lost so much money. Okay. You've got to look at, your experience. You got to look at your history. And I think that what I was seeing is that they were really pushed us hard. But if you look back in Chuck's chart that he put up there, y'all remember the chart that Chuck put up there and showed us the regression lines and where everything was? It put things in a picture for me. I said, they're going to rally this thing off this NVIDIA news. And boy, did they, huh? And I'm just saying that you've got to be patient in a bull market because sometimes you will have some corrections. And the corrections that, obviously that we had were pretty severe. If you look at some of these stocks, severe from the standpoint, maybe not percentage wise, but points wise. These suckers are, used to be a stock was $100 and pulled back 4 or 5%. Now stock's 3 or 4 or 500 pulling back 3%. And it's like the world's coming to an end. But
well, Tom, I'll say one thing is for those of you who haven't been around, if you're following Tom, if you're listening to what he's saying, if you're joining us here on Trade and Trade and for the live trading, if we've got that going on, then you're not surprised by what's happening in the market right now. That 67.25 pivot has been dominant in how we approach and look at the market. And if you know where the numbers are and you get that kind of feeling from the person you're following, then if that person is Tom Busby, you're generally on the right side of the market.
I appreciate that, Chuck. And what about our live trading, Chuck? Are you counting up the money we're making over there? I thought to myself for a while. I said this is just too good. This RB4. We used to trade it a lot years ago, but I'm really glad we started focusing on that. And so we really got a full deck of entries and exit points throughout the 24-hour market. Last night, my futures people, they might post some of their gains they had last night. I told them to buy a Delta 10, Delta 20 option about 8 days out. And I mean, unbelievable how much money they made last night just learning about Delta and how it coincides in there. So if you're not getting your fair share, okay, if you're not getting your fair share of profits, then you're probably not listening because we've been, we pause when the market gets a point like it did, and we pause and wait because we know there will be a reversal and all that. We'll look at that when we go live today, but I think we got some big opportunities out in front of us, and all we got to do is just be patient, let it come to us. I guess that's a good way to think about it, right, Chuck? Let them come to us.
And as far as counting it up, I was counting until the number got to a lot, and then I rely on Jonathan putting together those spreadsheets where we can actually see what the numbers are. So I let the work do the work.
I hear you. I hear you. All right, so the market's correcting here at this time of day. We actually now are below RB3, which is really not unusual. It's just the fact that we're below it and it's correcting after such a big gain. And because of that, you just want to be a little patient and make sure that you got things, lined out the way you should have things lined out in this particular situation. But it's pretty interesting to me. We were up at, just give you an idea, we were up at 67. Let me pull it out here real quick. The high of the mini was at 67.91, and now it's pulled back. Not unusual for this to happen this time of day. And I think it's an interesting second half of the day because if you think about it, it's pretty awesome when we can, we can do stuff like we're doing. I like doing it. Anyway, those are the thoughts and everything. Let me check something else. That's good. Okay. All right. So why don't we get into it, Chuck? Risk involved in trading. In this market, you got risk. You got to pay attention. You just can't put things on and forget about them. They sure do move, don't they? Just say it. Sure do move. In my opinion, we're going higher. We probably marked the low. And what we need to do is hold that 67.25. That's the big number that we're basing a lot of information off of. 67.25. Now, remember Saturday, we got an announcement to make on, I love this trade that we're doing. And I did it yesterday. I'm going to do it again today. You'll be able to see it Saturday night. Don't miss it. It's a pretty simple setup, but it takes advantage of interest rates and puts you in a pretty good position the way it works. Remind everybody tomorrow, I don't know if they got a slide, but tomorrow Jeffrey Hirsch will be here from Stock Traders Almanac. And so I'm excited about that one, especially after yesterday. Welcome to Train and Trade. Every day at 11, we're meeting and we're meeting and talking. That's what we do here, meeting and talking and trade. All right, I guess we're gonna talk about the market edge with sunrise signals. Jonathan, are we gonna do that or live trade? I thought we were gonna postpone sunrise until tomorrow and talk about live trading because it really is costing people not being able to do this live trade. I want to make sure they can get on board.
Hey, Tom, we have some slides about the sunrise feature, which we can save for tomorrow. The end of this, we're going to play a stream for your live trading with T-Buzz. Yes, we are doing that.
Okay, so let me go through the sunrise. So everybody responded, and thank you for doing that last night. The morning market with sunrise gets you oriented. An unbiased look at the market. And this morning it was flashing. It was making people glad they had it. You go to tables and hit sunrise, and it's pretty cool. Right click anywhere on add symbols, and it'll give you a look at those symbols. I don't know if you noticed it this morning. I put out Google. I think I put out NVIDIA. I don't have it fresh, but I know I did Apple, those three. The TQQ had a 2-for-1 split. Did y'all notice the TQQ had a 2-for-1 split? And I guess they did something with the SQQ too, right, Jonathan?
Yeah, Tom. Both of those had splits. The Magic 5 this morning had Nvidia, Google, Apple, and then TQQQ and SPY. Now the splits, and apparently this was announced back in early November, went into process today. One of them did the 2-for-1, I think, reverse split, and the other one did, I think, 5-to-1. I want to say it was 5-to-1. I'll have to double check that. But yeah, a significant change on both the TQQ and the SQQQ, as well as other ProShare ETFs, but those are the ones that we're focusing on.
Well, I think it's good news they did, because I tell you something, Chuck, the SQQ was almost untradeable down there at 14 or 15. Now it'd be tradable. I like having these numbers for both.
Yeah, definitely more range of movement.
Okay. Seven reference bars. Learn these times. This is if you, wherever you live or whatever you do, you want to enter and exit. These are evaluation times throughout the 24-hour market. And I mean, it was so easy to see last night after NVIDIA that we were going higher, looking at that closing bell frame from last night. And boy, did we. We just took off from that closing bell thing last night. Take the high and low bars from prior to reference bars. That's called the frame. And you can, it does it automatically. Pops up in there, long, short, or out. Pretty good signal, the sunrise signal. And you got to have at least a year on your subscription to get the sunrise signal. If you need it updated, get with Jonathan. He'll check you out and see if you got a year left. But you got to have it to get it. Probably need to renew your license.
Well, the other thing, Tom, if you're going to be live trading, if you're going to take advantage of that, having that early indication with the sunrise, I think, is invaluable.
Yeah. Yeah, we're back down to 67.25. I'm sort of looking at things and trying to figure out. Jonathan, somebody needs to check for news or some kind of news out doing that, okay? For that to come out and drop that far. All right, why don't we go to a live market? We'll come back for live trading. I'll cover that. All right, if you look at E-mini and you take the high there, RB3, I would expect by 12, it's what time is it? 11:17 now. The market's trying to make a low during the sell-off. Since we came all the way down to 67.25, I think that next hour is going to tell us a lot. If it's a continuation day, we're going to go lower, and then that's going to change up things if we get down there. Did anybody check the percentage on the bonds? What they're saying, did it go, is it above 30 or below 30 right now after that announcement this morning? Anybody check that?
You can check it right now, Tom. Let's see.
That's something you got to keep up with when you got a Fed meeting coming, because especially after they had the unusual thing of reporting September, and Chuck, I looked at the press release you got that was confusing. They were very confusing about how they put out this morning September number.
Yeah, I think possibly what they were planning on doing was putting both September and October and then realized they couldn't get October all together. So they said we're just going with one, I guess. Um, but yeah, but as if you were in the T-Buzz Talk and Trade, or if you have roadmap software, I think one of the things we talked about on the DTI Market Buzz was there is a confusion about whether this will be released or not. Just be ready at the time of the release. Because as you know, Tom, as traders, we're a trader is going to be a lot more interested in the time of the release than what's actually in the release. We figure out what's in the release after it's happened. So the heads up, be aware, news coming at 7:30 or 8:30 Eastern. I think that was really the key. Um, did we know exactly what the news was going to be? No. Did we know there was going to be news at that time? Yes. How did the market react to news at that time? Well, it was pretty darn positive.
Sixty 40, Tom. 60% they stay the same, 40% they lower quarter point.
Well, that's not from 30, isn't it?
I'm not sure myself. Chuck, was it at 30 yesterday?
It was about 33 to 35 yesterday, so it's up a little bit. Um, I think Lisa Cook was due to speak at the top of the hour. And remember, you got a 10-minute delay on when that comes out. So if you're seeing a move that occurred within the last 5 minutes, you'll have to wait a few minutes before you see that reflected on the FedWatch tool. Meanwhile, S&P futures 67.23 dropping back down a little bit. Still well above the open, 66.9750, but putting that
I
25
think,
number back
yeah,
in play.
Chuck, I think this is one of those days we just got to focus on that pivot number, 67.25, because
Exactly.
they've got to defend this number or the whole thing will come unwound.
Yeah, the funny thing about a pivot number, you can be a little bit below it, a little bit above it. It really depends on where you're opening, where you're closing, right? So, playing with the number, yeah, it makes it a little bit nervous, especially after we went to those highs. But where we end up at the end of the day in relation to that number, I think might be more important.
I think bond prices are up a little bit, 117. That's probably reflecting the 25% increase from 30 to 40 on the number. Let's keep our eye on that. If that gets over 60 or 70, I think this market will rally again. That's a pretty interesting move, though, I can tell you that. Anyway. All right, so if you look at E-mini right now, folks, it's really too early to tell. But just off the top of my head, what I'd like to do, it's 11:22. I'd like to be with you at 12 o'clock and evaluate this Genesis bar. I think it's very important. So why don't we do this, Jonathan? Why don't we play the live trading tape? Maybe make some comments at the end of that, and then we come back and look at where we're trading, because we're going to know a lot more time-wise, price-wise, by us getting to 12 o'clock. We hadn't started Genesis yet. We're 8 minutes in front of Genesis, you know?
Yep. Don't want anything prior to Genesis, that's for sure.
Yeah, why don't we do that? And I can watch the market while we're playing the tape, and then I'll have more information for everybody, because this is quite a drop. If you think about 80 points, that's a pretty good pitch, throw everybody out of the window, so to speak. And we'll go through when we come back and review some stocks and do some things. But RB4 is really key today, I got to tell you. RB4 was key before, after Genesis, RB4 will be the nuts. So let's play a recording and come back.
Yep. I marked the orange line at the daily open, 66.97. I circled yesterday's pattern. And here's today's pattern so far during the cash market hours at least. Let me switch it over to the recording time and go through that. Be back.
Hi, live trading. It's in real time. It's not a recording. It's live. Real trades. This was real money. Real results. The results are off the charts when you get to see it. It's unbelievable. Like I said, I put on a trade today, and guess what? Set up to go again. Tuesday through Friday. Trade day through Friday's close. Now, I've been trading for a long time. You wouldn't know it looking at me, but I've been trading for over 40 years. From one of the first to receive a Globex terminal to today's electronic markets. And the Globex terminal was the forerunner to electronic trading. My mission has always been simple. Get to know you, the customer, and teach you how to trade with confidence. That's always been my goal. Our legacy. For over 25 years, DTI has trained traders worldwide. Our students learn to read the market, not chase them. We focus on timing, discipline, and opportunity. Sort of like we work on the clock, don't we? We trade by the clock. Different times at different times in that 24-hour cycle offer better opportunities. I teach you that. I teach you that. Let me ask everyone here a question. Y'all ready to answer a question? Here it is. You've been trading during the day, looking at something like that, getting frustrated. Who's been doing that? I've done it where it just bores you. It bores you where you go stiff. Sometimes you even fall asleep, but it bores you. And then you might get confident markets going higher after watching it, and then it does the opposite, takes your money. Done that to me many times. It's happened because you don't know what to look for. I'm going to teach you how to avoid that through my live trading. Nobody knows this, but there's a key window of time each afternoon, and that time's very important. It starts at 1:30. We call it RB4, reference bar 4 for the rest of the day. 1:30, we kick it off with our key reference bar as it opens up, and the window opens up for us. Now, if you know how to trade this reference bar, you can have a shot at trading the boom period when it booms or the bust period when it is not. How many people here would like to know every day, Tuesday through Friday? I use Tuesday through Friday because I'm live with you. How many people would like to know whether to be long, short, or out after that time period before the market closes and before it opens the following night and the next morning? I proved it over and over again. People like to trade XP, SPX. I've given you the information. It's pretty interesting by being able to do this day by day. Last month, I started this live trading for the last quarter because I thought it was going to be prime time for us, and I was right. We've had a lot of opportunities at 1:30 to 3. So far, we've seen some pretty nice trades. How do I know? People tell me. They'll type in there like Frank did, $4,000 here, 2,000 there, 500 there. It adds up. Pretty soon, it's some real money. Like with the XSP I did on October the 27th, a layup trade. We had a layup trade yesterday. That afternoon wasn't doing much, but I could look at it based on what I was seeing from 133, so we ought to do it. We did it. Got paid. Reference bar showed us exactly how to play it. Gave me what I needed to issue the trade. In live trading session, I went long. Stock soared the next day. We got paid. give us a nice 21% return. So how much is 21%? Well, if you put up $1,000, how much money would you have if you put up 20 and made 21% overnight like that? How much money would you have if you started with $1,000 on that trade? Yeah, that's right. 200 plus. That adds up. How about 430 with 2,000? You ever thought about that? So by doing this, not for day trades, but for swing trades, the way we look at it, you get paid some pretty good money for showing up. So I started sort of like a little bit tongue in cheek, telling people, if you miss one of my live trading sessions, it costs you a minimum of $200 for not showing up. Penalty fee for not getting that trade. 430 on that day. 3 weeks of live trading, we've seen wins like $344 there on November the 7th, 256 on the TQQ. NVIDIA, 256, 234. Just gets better and better and better. QQQ, that's 1 day's worth of returns off the QQQ. I skinned that cat 3 different ways. About $800 on that one. Now, I can't guarantee future winners. Nobody can do that, but there's always risk in trading you need to be aware of. I explained that risk. The live trading sessions help us minimize it because I can take the market in real time, explain it, interpret it, and execute, and people agree. Now, I got a lot of requests and emails that made me ask the following poll. They said, Tom, will you do this further past December? I thought, man, that's a lot of work every day. I had to plan my whole schedule to be there at 1:30. So I said, let's put a poll up. I was thinking, if it's 80% or higher, I might do it. That's what I said to myself. The poll came back when we did it. Look at this. Can everybody see 100% of people in there said, Tom, extend it, do it. I said, you know, I'm ringing the bell right here for people, right? So what I do, I thought about it, I did it, and tonight we're going to open it up where you can join us, okay? And you can join us right now for the rest of the year and the first 3 months of next year. That's exactly what I did. Open it up. Today I talked about it, breaking news. I already had a bunch of people join. And I'll tell you, it's limited because we're going to cut it off. Because I want to take the people that join this, and I want everybody in there to sing and do that. Now, why does live matter? There's no substitute for watching somebody trade live. I can't hide when I put on a trade. It could die right there on the vine in front of me. You see my analysis, my execution, and my decision making as it happens. That's how real traders learn. A real-time trading and education program for you from 1:30 to 3. And I got a team around me. I got Jonathan Rowe and I got Chuck Crow. Sort of rhymes, doesn't it? Rowe and Crow from 1:30 to 3. No theories, just trading right there in front of me. I challenge anybody that you can find to do what we do every day, 1:30 to 3. You won't find it. Not at this price. Maybe at any price. It takes quite a lot of training to be able to transfer that experience and go live like this. We choose the best strategy for that particular day to enter trades into the future, and we execute those trades. Timing's everything. You know, I heard people say you can't time the market. I've proven wrong every day. We take advantage of end-of-day momentum and how to focus on how to go forward. I explain each thing step by step, the risks involved, what it takes, what our goals are, why those goals are important. Every move I make every day is a real-time lesson on that particular day. That is got priceless. It's priceless, folks, to be able to get those kind of lessons. We'll use the tools that I use, the Roadmap software. We're more and more people, I got to tell you, are buying the Roadmap software because now they understand just how good it is for organizing the data, plotting out your plan to get where you want to go. We talk about the Genesis algo. That happens around noon. how it plays into that 130 time period and of course the reference bar. I'll take straight calls. I'll take straight puts, easy trades like that when the momentum's there. I do vertical debit spreads and vertical credit spreads, income trades, long trades like I did on Apple. I use an advanced technique sometimes with a Delta 50 option when I get something hot, or a Delta 10 option if I want to leverage it for small accounts. I learn and teach how to choose the strike I'm going to choose, where I'm going to enter, and where I'm going to exit, both when they're good and when they're down. The power of time and day, you can't ignore it. If you're doing something tomorrow, check your watch at 1:33. And if you're not in here with me, we're making money because odds are in our favor, and you're sitting there on the sideline wondering what's going on. Well, don't wonder anymore. You can be there with us. I've proven for decades the key part of the reference bar concept. When you understand it, you'll control your trading. The reference bar edge. Each reference bar reveals a shift in our globe. I used to say, where the sun is shining. By the time RB4 rolls around, California's making a play. We have a clear direction for the U.S. afternoon. That's the edge we trade from. Now, why does live work? Market doesn't wait. By trading live, we learn how to adapt, not react, and you see how to plan a trade, set up a trade, use a trade, execute it, manage risk, whether it's a stock, whether it's an option, or whether it's a future. We focus on being consistent. People tell me all the time, Tom, I have good days and bad days. Everybody has good days and bad days, but what I teach you is how to be consistent to your bottom line. Stacking consistent wins. Smart, repeatable trades, that's the secret. My results, well, you got to say, Tom, are you any good at this? Well, look at this. This is pretty outstanding. I've issued almost 250 trades, 248 trades. In that list of actual trades I've done, 210 winners, 36 losers, 2 at break even, at 85% accuracy. So let me put this in perspective. 85% of the time, the odds are in your favor if you use my setup, my time, and my things to do. What do you think that does for you? So if you're doing less than that, this is for you. 85% on every time we find something that fits our criteria. We don't guess. We trade when the clock, the trend, and the setup align. That's where consistency lives. Every trade has a plan, a defined risk, a clear target. There's no emotion, just execution. That's how professionals trade. Live means live. I'm not talking about a trade I might do. I'm talking about a trade I am doing. You watch me analyze it, plan, and execute it in real time. It's the purest way to teach yourself about how to trade and what to do. Now, I got a special bonus class included with this package. This is huge, folks. And I want you to think about it. If I'm with you every day, Tuesday through Friday, 1:33, how valuable would it be on January the 8th at 10:30 to 4 that I was with you all day? I want you to think about this, okay? What's important about January the 8th? I'll tell you what's important about January the 8th. It's the start of a new year. By January the 8th, I will have a plan for January, how to take advantage of it, the stocks that are lit up, ready to roll, the stocks to avoid. I will have that on January the 8th, so you're invited to be with me on January the 8th, live on that day. Put it on your calendar. I'll show you how important the 3-day algo is in real time, what I think the big picture for the year is on different markets, how far oil is away from hitting 45. I'll talk about that, and setting realistic goals based on your ability to participate, based on your risk capital, not just hype out there. I'll give you how to use it and how to use it effectively over 2026. Now, This is something that I found when I was cleaning out a box, moved my office, and I was moving, and I saw this. I said, man, the DTI playbook, the insider's guide to managing your portfolio in a market meltdown. Okay. I sold this in 2006, right prior to the crash of 2007. I called it for $10,000 a pop. I've got people here that paid that amount of money. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got 5 copies. 5 copies. I'm bending over to get one of them. This is a copy of the book. I'll give away 5 to the membership of my live trader. We'll have Kelly Barber do the drawing like she always has in the past. We'll do it on January the 8th, and you will have it and have it as a adjunct to all your reads. It's good. It's still viable today. It's for all different size dollar amounts. It was some of the highlights of the last 25 years, me putting this together, and it really paid off if you remember what happened in 07. Now, there's a limited time enrollment for my live trading. Existing members get a discount of $7.49. Current members get signed up. I am going to cut that off because I will, as I keep making trade after trade, account after account grow, I'm going to change this price once we hit our limited time. So don't hesitate. This is not for people that can't make up their mind. This is not for people that don't see the value. This is for people that want to have a real live plan. Sign up right now. Now, if you're new, you can start tomorrow by joining us today. We'll be getting together at 1:30 to 3, all the way through the end of March. Let's take that account, whatever size it is, and grow it. That'll be our goal starting tomorrow. Take a picture of your net lick tomorrow if you join me, and then take a picture at the end of March where you'll look back and make it happen. Fair enough? Trade to win. Don't watch the market, trade it live. I'll show you, I'll teach you how to trade like a professional live in real time. Now, live trading with me is available. DTItrader.com, T-Buzz Live, or call us at 904-706-3532. I laid it out for you. If you got any questions, ask it. No, this is not a VIP program. This is a program designed for me to be live with you, personally live through this time period, and give you live trades. Some are short term, some are swing, some are long term. I'll do it right inside this time capsule every day, 1:30 to 3. Any other questions that people have? Yes, you'll have access to all the recorded versions we have when you join tonight. Jonathan will lead you through how to get all that stuff. I want to thank Frank for coming on board. Frank, you're always first. I always like that about you. You don't hesitate. You don't hesitate when you do things. Thank you, James, for coming on. Man, oh man, people are loving what I said. I love it, I love it, love it. Come on, challenge me if you got any questions. Dave, if you got a rear view mirror on your car with the houseboat and the end of government shut down, it's now in the rear view mirror, okay? Let's look ahead. Let's look to tomorrow. Let's look to 1:30 tomorrow. I'm going to ask the proverbial question. Who wants to make money tomorrow between 1:30 and 3? If you really want to make money, you're going to join this program. You're going to do it and never look back. You will be telling me, Tom, on that night, it was a historic night when I made a transition from not knowing what to do, how to do it, or when to do it, to getting those questions answered on a daily basis. Sign up right now. Sign up right now. I love it. I love the fact that I'm able to bring this to you. I cleared my schedule. I decided to do it. And we've got a big plan in force for you. A big plan in force. special administrative thing. If you're in my futures program at 9 o'clock tonight, I will be posting a setup to get into tomorrow. If you're my T-Buzz TNT, I'll be posting a stock I want to take a piece of tonight. Fair enough? So look there after 9 tonight. Come on, guys. Who is hesitating? Who needs some clarification? It's straightforward. Listen to what Jim said. I've been in this program since the very first day. That's the existing one, and I will continue being a member as long as you keep doing it. Learning something new every day and money every week being there. Jim, by the way, has been trading for 30 years. That says a lot for a trader that thinks that highly of it. Thank you, Jim. Way to go, Bill. This is through Robin. Robin said, can I sign up again for 3 months after? No, Robin, you can't. This is only through March of 2026. Because at the end of March, we'll see where we are, okay? But right now, I'm committing through March of next year. A new trader just typed in, as a new trader, this program has been the greatest help in building her confidence and her account. That's what I want to hear, Miss Schaefer. That's what I want to hear. Mrs. Schaefer. He's married. Okay, got it. First met her at Sawgrass. One of my students.
All right, guys, welcome back. The recording is, or the video is complete. Right now, we're in the midst of forming the Genesis bar. The Genesis bar low will be the low of the day. So pay attention to that RB frame. And go ahead and you probably go ahead and lock in the Genesis bar high, which is 67.16 as a major point of resistance at the market where to come back above that level after the completion of the Genesis bar. You'd be looking for a challenge of course, 67.25. So keep that in mind. This Genesis bar forming up, and it will be completely formed in about 10 minutes. And let's see, Jonathan, do we want to do a 10-minute timer here? come back at the completion of the Genesis bar and see where the market's heading?
Yeah, I'm getting Tom logged back in here. You had a little issue pop up. 1 second.
All right. In the meantime, what do you guys think about this market? Kind of a bit twisty. Nice big pop down. Whipsaw. Yeah, you definitely have that. You have that adrenaline shot with the Nvidia, and market pops up. Maybe tried to climb a little bit too much on one day. What goes up must come down, at least for a bit. Yeah. Catalyst for the reversal. Breaking the low of RB3, I think was really when this thing started coming down.
Yeah, let's talk about it because there's some news out there. Market doesn't fall 100 S&P points this time of day unless there's some news, and I can't figure out what the news is. And but there's some news out there. When there's news that I don't know, these hands stay off the mouse, and I evaluate. Now, Chuck pointed out something. The warning sign came in the day when we broke the low of RB3. If you look at RB3, it was tested, a perfect test, and then we went back up, and then we broke that low. What price was that at, Chuck? 67 what?
It was around 60, 61. Let me get the exact number. Let's see. The low of RB3 was 6760.5. So about 6760.
Okay, write that number down. That's a big number in the future. You ought to write that number down. 67, what is it?
6760.5.
6760.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay, now come down, if you will, to the opening of Genesis. Where did Genesis open?
The Genesis bar opens 6712.
6712 is Genesis, and of course we got the 6725 there. So you got 6760. Here's the numbers I'm using: 6760, 6745, 6725, 6712, 6695, 6685, 6675, 6662. All right, let's see where we're trading. We're trading 90. All right, those are the numbers I'm using right now. If anybody sees any news that came out at the break, and the time was about 11 o'clock, 11:15, okay?
Tom, whatever it is, it doesn't appear to be interest rate related because that CME FedWatch tool has just been rock steady the whole time.
Right. Okay. So so it's not on the interest rate. I think, the thing that's throwing me a little bit is that, well, it's changed now. The VIX has gone positive. It was negative, but we're still below the high that we went at 25. My gut tells me, I don't know, it's just experience tells me there's some news out there and you can't make a decision about the market unless you know what the news is. There's news out there. I don't know what it is. Something I haven't been able to put my hand on, okay? But I can tell you that there's some news out there. And so what we have to do is look at Genesis. Genesis is down here basically into yesterday's pivot number, which is 6675. And so if you look at that, it basically tells you, hey, we're down here. And you look at, I'm just looking across the board. Everything's down on a situation like this. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you a plan in case this market doesn't recover. Okay. Okay, hold on. Trump called 6 congressional traitors that should be prosecuted. Oh, the 6, yeah. Well, I agree with that. Being in the military, I agree with that. Yeah, it seems like the Fed might be doing something there too. So there's some news. Look, I've been trading a long time. There's some news out there. I'll figure it out and then we'll go from there. But let me give you some numbers on some stocks. Put NVIDIA in there real quick. Put a daily, if you will.
All right, Tom, I think Jonathan stepped away, so let me go ahead and grab that share. And let's see. All right, so you want a big chart?
Yeah, put a daily chart, if you will, on NVIDIA. I need to look at NVIDIA.
Yeah, I'm just going to clean this out and create a brand new chart. So let's see. Charts, Compass. Open up NVIDIA. And so daily chart of NVIDIA. There you go.
Okay, how high did it go today?
We got the high in here at 198.37.
Okay, look at what's that green bar to the left over there, that high there. Where's that high?
That one is
No,
at
over to the left.
further
Right there, that bar. What's that high?
199.94.
All right. I would use on NVIDIA. The reason I'm bringing this up, about 202 and a half, 202 and a half to me looks like a safe bet for this week's expiration. Okay. If we end up not recovering. So I'll make a decision at RB4. RB4 is very important. So 20, I'm writing these numbers down, 202 and a half. What I'll do is do a credit call spread to go with a put spread. I got a lot lower, but I'll do that. Let's go to Google.
All right, let me get this color set right. So there's your 202 half. We'll go over
Go to
to
Google.
you want the L or just GOG
Yeah, I just
OOGL?
use GOOG. I've never changed.
All right. No L. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. How high did Google go today?
That one 306.89.
Okay, 306. Okay, probably about 307 or higher there. Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Let's go to Apple.
And on the daily, this made it up to 275.42. You got 277.32
Yeah,
back.
277 and a half is where I'd go. The reason
Yeah.
I'm giving you these numbers, I would probably, with that Apple spread we do in live trading, I'll probably sell this week's and make it an iron condor and sell that side of it. What I'm thinking, using the high of the day to have something higher, and that's free money because the market's correcting this way, it's got to rebuild. But see, you're sitting here looking at S&P now at 66.45. Put the S&P back in.
All right.
You put a daily in for the S&P. All right, what was yesterday's low?
Yesterday's low was 66.13.
All right, write that number down, 66.13, and then the number of previous days low from there. You got 13, and then what do you got for that red bar there?
We've got 65.94.
65.94. Okay. What I'm doing, folks, is planning ahead. I'm not going to do anything to RB4, if anything at all. I'm going to figure out by that time whether or not market's going to recover or whether or not I need to step aside, so to speak, because the thing is pretty pretty brutal when you sit there. I mean, let me explain that. You've had a drop of 150 S&P points. Okay, Jonathan, what's 150 S&P points percentage drop from the high?
That'd be about 2%, a little bit over 2%.
And you got a 2% drop in less than it started. Let's see where it started. Let's say it started there at what time?
If you go from the high, that was 10:30 Eastern.
10:30 Eastern, and time wise, it's about an hour and a half, folks. That's
Mhm.
pretty strong.
Yeah, now if you go for the break of RB3, that's been a little bit less than an hour.
Yeah.
And that was what was that, 67.60 down to 66.30, so it's closing in on that 2%.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Let's take a 10-minute break, and I'm going to search some more in the news areas if I can find anything. And if not, I'll be back in 10 minutes. Give me a 10-minute support.
Meanwhile, the Genesis bar has been completed. Got that 10-minute timer running on the screen. Okay, so you guys should be able to see the video or the timer right on my name. $66.28 is the low of the Genesis bar. Let's throw in an S&R line there. Actually, you know what? Let me just put the RB frame up in here. That top side not doing me much good, but the lower side, 66.28, 66.28, the low of the day. And do need to put an S&R line in. At the high of the Genesis bar, 67.16. Make sure we got that right. Yeah, that'll work. And okay, so what you're referring to there, Jay pointing out that yesterday's open, let me make sure I get it right. Um, Jay says it's 66.30.75. I've got the same thing. That was the open on November 19th. So market dipped a little bit below that. And of course, yesterday's low, 66.13 quarters. So let's put in another line here. Let's call it 66.13. Do you wait to get back to 67.25? I think that 67.25 is sort of a broader view, Wendy. That's where we open the quarter. So you're going to be above the open of the quarter and below the open of the quarter throughout the quarter. Um, so it's a big number. It has a big influence, but intraday trading, we can trade towards it, we can trade away from it. So it's a big number with a big influence, but it's not limiting on what you're capable of doing, if that makes sense. Now, if you're looking for something a little bit more broad structured, then perhaps waiting for that number would be the better idea there. So time frames become important. 66.44 last traded. The market does have to make a big climb to get above the high of the Genesis bar. Sorry about that. Apparently, I moved the screen. Yeah, the jobs numbers that came out, David, were that was released this morning around 8:30 Eastern, and that was the September numbers. So that was known before the market ran up and set its high at 67.91. But again, those were the numbers for the month of September. If you recall, we had the government shutdown starting in October. So the jobs numbers that a lot of people are worried about are the ones from October. And well, we don't have November yet because we're still in the month. But we did not get October numbers. We got September numbers. I don't pay as much attention to it as I used to. I think the market's become, when you have one sector that can kind of dominate the market, those ticks can be a little bit misleading at times. So in a broader market spectrum, I think the tick is very important. But when you've got Nvidia sort of tugging the market this way and that, if I've got 1,000 ticks down and one tick up, and the one tick up happens to be Nvidia, that might be a different scenario. But and I know that's not exactly the way it works, but you understand what I'm saying. There's a focus that can often misalign what you're looking at with the tick, so you have to be careful about that. We should have a bell sounding off in about 30 seconds here.
All right, Chuck, I think it goes deeper in this, and I'm just thinking this out a little bit. Bitcoin hit 7% down for the week, but that's not the issue. The issue is, what's the difference? The difference is there's a lot of lending going on in the Bitcoin network, and I think that the lending might be the concern because of the banking side of that, and I think that might be where the fear is. But I don't know, I don't know if that's it or not. I'm just telling you, generally speaking, with the Bitcoin sell-off like it is, 7% in a week's pretty strong drop. Even and it's down, it's down quite a bit. So I'm looking at, just thinking about Bitcoin. How many people's moved to Bitcoin? How many institutions have invested in Bitcoin? And they're all, I think, are starting to be underwater quite a bit. Chuck, if you will, why don't you put the MSTR in there? That's the big one, MSTR. Put a daily in there. Now, I don't know, but I'd like to know if somebody can figure it out. He's been buying Bitcoin and he said it's headed to 1 million. What I'd really like to know, he's been borrowing money to buy more Bitcoin through convertible notes and stuff. But what I'd like to know is his average cost, okay? His average cost. Because somebody look that up. Jonathan, are you here?
Yeah, I can take a look at that, Tom. Sure will.
I'd like to know their average cost of Bitcoin, because that could be a concern if he goes underwater. That's my question.
Let me see if I can find something on that, Tom.
All the markets, it only takes one market to go off the reservation without what I would call without especially you've got a new frontier market, I call it, with Bitcoin, okay? And all that. We got a Genesis negative signal, 66.22. The low, all right, the low of yesterday, I think it was at 13, Chuck, yesterday's low?
Yeah, Tom, it was 13. We got the line in here for that. So
yeah, so
coming down
13
close
was
to it.
low to 15. So if we break yesterday's low, I'm going to put on some pocket puts. That's what I'm going to do. I'll put it in my TNT room. But I had to see a low beyond yesterday's low to do that one. we're 66.17 right now, right? So I'd look out QQQ. I'd go out 2 weeks. Let me go find one real quick. If I do a pocket put, you everybody know how pocket puts work? Okay, basically, give yourself about 2 weeks, which is we'll just go December 1st. Make it simple. Give yourself about 2 weeks, and you go out and you find you an option about 50 cents, okay? And goodness gracious.
Generally look for a 5 wide put spread around
Right.
50 cents. And 2 weeks out is December 5th.
Yeah, December 1st. Do December 1st, 11 days.
December 1st, okay. Yeah, 11 days, okay.
Now, I'm not doing it right now. I'm just telling you what my thoughts are if we continue to make lows below yesterday's low. So far, we haven't done that. We got close, 15 on the S&P. That's a pretty close deal, but I would probably put a pocket put on spread. You got one, Jonathan, for 50 cents?
Well, right now the 555, 550 is priced at 48 cents.
And that's 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, 11 days out.
Yeah. My gut says just wait till we get to RB4 because by then this thing will set up. I'm just going to tell you what I'm thinking right now. You know, where you get in for 50 cents on this sucker. It'll go to about 25 cents if it does reverse. So I don't want to be premature. Probably RB4 is a better spot to consider it. That'd be my thought process. If we do not reverse the sell-off, last time I remember something like this, it was called a flash crash years ago. And this market, I mean, they're selling, something's out there and they're going to make an announcement, but something's out there. It might be in banking. I don't know, how are bank index looking? How's banks look right here? Banks. What I'm doing, folks, I don't have anything that that tells me. We need to know to answer the question, where's MSTR's average cost on their Bitcoin? That's an important question.
What I got here, Tom, I just did a Google search,
Yeah.
not sure how reputable it is, but it stated that as of November 17th, 2025, that was 3 days ago, their average cost was 66,000 and change.
66,000? Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and some change, but 66,000.
okay, so you could weather a pretty good storm then. I don't think that's it. But yeah, because I would look for the financing of stuff. That's what I would look to. Okay. They got all these premiums marking up. They're marking up things right now with this new low on the daily. You got the day players in there. You got the day players in there. All right. Apple and Google are holding up fairly decent. I'm looking at them right now. Google, let's see, Google, look at Google. Yeah, oh, well, Google's coming unglued too. Look at that, 294 on Google. That's a $10 drop on Google. Okay. Apple, 268. That still was in range. So not better than Google. Google just gave it up, didn't they? $180 point drop on S&P. Goodness gracious, that's big. That's not a normal market. They sell everything once the music stops. All right, I'll teach you something else to look for. Go to a 30-minute chart, a little review on chart rating, blow it up. All right, what I look for a bottom, and I'm saying that with this kind of sell off. If you look, does everybody see, if you start at the top from the high, does everybody see you have a lower bar? If you take 2 bars at a time, let's come down, okay? You got 2 bars, you got lower bars. Then you come down, you got lower bars. Then you come down and you got lower bars after Genesis right here. So until you get above the high of that bar, what's the high of the current bar?
All right, Tom, high of the current bar is 66.56.75. So 66.57.
Yeah, and I'd go to 66.62. So write that number down. You got to get above, right now, to get a bottom in place, you got to get above 66.62. You got to trace it down every 30 minutes to that high. But right now, the controlling number would be 66.62. What I'm trying to do is show you how to recognize that a reversal might happen. Okay, 66.62. You're below all the days preceding this, right? Is that a daily or 30 minutes? That's 30 minutes.
It's 30
minutes.
minutes.
Daily. Okay. The next low that you haven't taken out is that green low right there. What's that green low? That one there.
That's 65.70. This one here is that 94 area.
65.40.
Yeah, so 94 is your next big number. Below that, 70. And then the big one is 40.
Yeah, 40, write that number down, 65.40. That's your big number in the sky. That's your big number in the sky. Folks, I think it's prudent. Just keep your hand off the mouse. Wait till we get to 130. Let's see how this market shakes out. Hopefully by that time, somebody in the know will put a reason out there that makes sense. I haven't seen one yet other than the tie into lending on Bitcoin. Because that messes with your financial system. That the kind of drop you have right now happens 2 ways. It happens from some major news like war or something like that, or it happens in your financial system. People get nervous about it because the credit system gets endangered. Then you got a real issue. You see these kind of drops during those kind of days. So I'm just going to keep my hands off the mouse. It's hard to do, but I think it's just like throwing dice right now, looking at these numbers. I will put on a pocket put, probably in live trading later in the day if this thing has not recovered. That would be my go-to strategy. If I have any short puts like I do on Apple, I'll probably sell some calls at that time. It's not set up to, I've got some numbers there to look at. But folks, you just got to be careful anytime you see this. Don't want to be overly aggressive. You want to give it time for the news to come out. Any questions anybody has? I will guide you through this like I always do. I see people in my live trading at 1:30. Peter, my go-to spread right now on the QQQ, Jonathan, give it to Peter, if you will. The go-to spread. So I'm gonna probably gonna wait from 1:30 to 2 and give us market time. I mean, when you have 190 point drop like this, you can't jump in and plunge in there. Okay. So, Jonathan, why don't you repeat it for everybody that's not reading that?
QQQ, December 1st is the expiration. The 555, 550 debit put spread. That's buying the 555 put, selling the 550 put. Again, QQQ is the ticker, expiration December 1st. The 555, 550 debit put spread. That's buying the 555 put, selling the 550 put. We usually get in around 50 cents for pocket put spreads.
I'll go out to December 1st when I put that sucker on. Again, I wait to the end of the day. In this case, it'd be after RB4. If it's negative, I'm going to put it on. Okay, if RB4 is negative. But you don't want to, what you don't want to do is plunge in here, because in a snapshot, they say what it is. The market has a chance to evaluate the news, say, hey, that's not bad, and then it goes back and recovers. You could be up. Always remember, when you have a 67.91 high, a 66.02 low, that's 190 points. 190 points, you divide that by 2. We'll draw a line. Once you draw a line, where that midpoint will be.
Yes, Tom, that midpoint would be right about 66.96.
Okay, so 66.62 on the chart would take us positive if you get give you 2 bars up at least, okay? And then 92 would be a resistance area if we did rally. But this is quite an extraordinary move, folks. I'm telling you, this is an extraordinary move. Anybody got any last minute questions? I'm gonna go get a sandwich and think about all this. This is a pretty good what I would say. This is a pretty good sell-off, if nothing else. Thanks, Peter. I appreciate you saying that. I will be back at 1:30. Let's come back at 1:30 and let this thing have a little breathing room, see where we're trading.
That 1:30 will be in the live trading room, so that means we're going to be wrapping up Training Trade in just a moment.
Yeah, you might put the link in there if they want to join us for the rest of this year and the rest of the next 3 months. I'm not going to raise the price on you, but you can buy it at that special. So put that on there and play the song one more time, and we'll finish up with the song as people make up their mind if they want to join us or not.
In the early light, before the rooster crows, T-bus sits where the ticker flows. A coffee cup, a steady hand. He trades the market like a riverboat man.